Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Thank Me Later's Real Life. I'm your host, Janai Thornton, and I'm super excited to have our special guest today, Allie Murray McCray. Hey, Allie.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome back. Glad to have you back. And, we talked about this before, Allie, in our first segment that, this is a heavy topic, obviously, because you're a funeral director.
Yes.
Yep, you've been a funeral director over 23 years now.
Yes.
With Murray Brother Funeral Home right here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I know this is a heavy topic, but clearly it's a necessary one.
Definitely.
Yep. All of us have to go through this at some point. And the question is, how prepared or equipped are we going to be? And that's why I'm excited that you all are back with us today, because we are committed to navigating you through all of life situations. So, Allie, today we're going to talk a little bit about pre-planning.
Okay.
Actually, my first pre-planning experience I actually had with you all at Murray Brothers. My great aunt was terminally ill. And I said, you know what? I don't have to wait for her to pass away to begin the process. So can you talk about how common is that? Are a lot of people proactive when they know that their loved ones are close to passing away?
Yes. With pre-planning, they will come in to just sit down and get things prepared, finding out what the necessary expenses are for burial or cremation.
Okay.
And definitely getting some information, if not going ahead to complete the entire pre-need.
It seems like that, taking that approach, I know it certainly was for me, it took a lot of stress off of me. I felt like I was a little steadier when I had the opportunity to come during the pre-planning mode. Do you find that that's true?
Yes. So it takes the stress off of the family and, of course, allows them to be able to prepare for a funeral service and not be as emotional as they would have had they not done any planning
at all. Right.
Yes.
Right. And what advice do you have for families who do have a loved one that is terminally ill? Any advice as far as how soon they should come in, or any certain approach when they come to the funeral home?
So definitely coming in, and of course you have some situations where people may have received a terminal notification from a doctor where they come in themselves.
Oh, really?
To make their wishes known so that their family doesn't have to go through this burden and everything is already laid out. So, of course, if you're a family member preparing for a loved one who has received this report as well, then, of course, just going through the process of making everything known. Most of the time when you do your pre-planning, you already know your budget.
Right.
And, of course, it's just a lot easier. Everything is already in place. And it's just basically you're calling the funeral home when death occurs.
Right.
And letting them know to go ahead and pull the folder so that you can prepare for those services.
Right. I do. I highly recommend it. Just, again, the level of stress that it takes off. Mm-hmm. And it allows you to make very important decisions. Clear head. I think that you feel steadier. And I think it gave me more time. I didn't feel like I was under the pressure of trying to hurry up and get everything done very quickly.
Correct.
So what does pre-planning mean? Define that.
So pre-planning is just setting up a contract with the funeral home and putting all of your affairs in order. Letting people know, okay, I want burial, I don't want cremation. And then, of course, you have some that I want cremation, no burial.
Right.
And, of course, assisting families in this pre-planning where you may have a situation where there's some people at odds with what you want. Then, of course, going ahead and getting the necessary documents that are in the state of Georgia where you can sign off stating, I want cremation.
Right.
And this is the person who can authorize my cremation.
Right.
Regardless of your next of kin, husband, parent.
Right.
Then, of course, this will hold up in the courts.
Right.
That this was the person's final wish and will honor this document.
And how common is it for people to either do their own pre-planning, or for people to do it for someone, that they
It's
love?
about a 50-50. I probably get at least 2 to 5 calls a day in regards to pre-planning. Some will be for self, and then some will be for other loved ones. But most of the time, if you come in to do one for a loved one, you're like, let me go ahead and do mine as well.
Let me just take care of mine. Okay. And What typically comes with pre-planning? Are you literally making every single decision, or is it just like key decisions that people need to make? Like, how extensive can it be?
You can do either.
Okay.
You can do the minimum where some families will be, I'm just going to give you this $12,000 check.
Right.
Let them pick it. And then you'll have some people that say, oh, no, I want this color casket. I want
Right.
this color flowers. I
Right.
want this kind of program.
Okay.
And then they might call you a year later, and we're going to change this, and we're going to add this.
So
it is
people will
possible.
update their pre-planning.
Yes.
Okay. And so does pre-planning also mean prepaying?
No.
Okay.
So pre-planning, you can go ahead and do your pre-planning and, of course, have a contract on file. You may go ahead and put $150 down at our particular firm
Okay.
just to lock in 2021's costs.
Okay.
So if you're doing prepayment, then most of those persons are trying to pay off that expense, and they're not going to use any insurance or anything, so they don't want to leave any expenses for their family.
Okay. So what I think I heard you saying is if I do my pre-planning, I can make a deposit, and that's going to lock in the current year's rates.
Yes.
And is that a standard for most funeral homes?
No.
No. Okay.
Everyone does it different.
Okay.
So that's something you will have to research with the firm that you choose.
Okay. And now in the context of prepaying, you know, I've heard people who are advocates of it, and I've heard people who also have said, hey, you may want to don't do that.
Yes.
What's your stance on prepaying?
I let my families know that it's totally up to you.
Okay.
When you do prepayment, of course, all of these monies are placed in an escrow account with a local bank here in Atlanta.
Okay.
They're monitored by the state of Georgia.
Oh, I didn't realize
And
they were
they're
monitored.
Yes, they're never to be mingled with, commingled with our day-to-day operating funds. So it's two separate accounts. In order to receive any monies out of that account, I have to present a death certificate with your name on it, and it shows where we've made that deposit for them to release any funds to me.
And so what about folks who are concerned if the funeral home is even going to be in existence when they pass away?
And you get that a lot. So I let my families know that come in with me, this is all I have. I don't have anything else. So I'm sure I got another 20, 30 years left in me to do this.
Right.
So, of course, letting them know at any time if they need to close that account down, we can close that account down. They'll receive their monies back that they paid into it.
You can get the money refunded.
Of course.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
That's the first time I've heard that.
Yes, get the monies refunded back to you. And, of course, I know that there has been a funeral home here in Atlanta that was a similar situation where they went out of business and they had accepted monies.
Right.
They had to go before a judge, and the judge would grant them so much money, and they would have to go to different funeral homes to see who would honor that contract.
Understood. Anything else about pre-planning? Any other tips or things that you want to share with folks to help them through this very difficult time?
You don't have to wait until you're terminally ill.
Okay.
I encourage everyone to do some pre-planning.
Okay.
Even myself, I have everything laid out.
Right.
It's just they would have to pay for it. That's it.
One thing that I like to encourage people to do too, because even if you're not sure where you're going to be living over the next few years, if you've at least written out, made your wishes known.
Definitely.
Make sure that it's all written out and make those decisions for your family. It takes off so much stress when you do not have to make those decisions under stress or duress.
Definitely.
It's a huge deal. And thank you for sharing the information about being able to lock in the rates.
No problem.
Definitely want to be able to help people save money.
Oh, yes.
Allie Murray McCray, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you everyone for joining with us with another segment and another edition of Thank Me Later, Real Life Edition. Again, thank you to our guest, Allie Murray McCray from Murray Brothers Funeral Home right here in Atlanta for being with us. And please continue to follow us. You can follow us on Instagram at TML Money, and you can also follow me at Janai Thornton. That's JINITHORNTON. Thanks, y'all.